It's a real joy and privilege to be in a room this big, full of all these amazing people, and I can see your faces reflecting in the lights, illuminating life, brilliance, energy. Feels good. It's a shame I have to sing so many songs about death in the company of so much life. It's kind of one of the strange ironies of this tour. But my parents were obsessed with death, and they raised us like stoics. Life sucks and then you die was their motto. They were very loving and caring, but they were unflinching when it came to the subject of death. And every birthday, we would get a cake, and the candles would be shaped in a question mark, and sometimes there'd be a little typography handwritten on the cake that said, "You never know when you're gonna go." Or sometimes it said, "Happy birthday, 1 year closer to death." At night, they never really read us Dr. Seuss, or My Little Pony, or whatever children's books most kids got to read at night. They read us excerpts from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and Book of Lamentations. And we would memorize it and we would sing it. They would bring in their ukuleles and we would sing the Book of Lamentations, sing us to sleep. Excerpts from Job, stuff like that. It's pretty gruesome. And I remember the first death I really experienced was by hairless albino pet rat named Mr. Bossy Pants. And he was so cute, but he got cancer and the tumors everywhere so quickly. And I felt so terrible for him, and I wanted to pray for him. So I would read him when Jesus heals the lepers from the Gospels. I'd read him those stories and hope that maybe Jesus would heal him. And then I did some research and found out there was alternative chemotherapy treatment in Germany, so I wanted to fly up to Germany. My parents said no. I stole some holy water from the church and bathed him in the holy water. But my dad, finally, he pulled me aside and he said, "Look, this is a real lesson of life and death. It's time for Mr. Bossy Pants to meet his maker." So he put Mr. Bossy Pants, who was so suffering at this time. He wasn't eating, he wasn't singing, he wasn't doing anything but just suffering in silence. And my dad put Mr. Bossy Pants in an empty coffee can of coffee, like an old coffee can, put him out back, and hit him 10 times with a hammer, and smashed the can, and put him out of his misery. And then we buried him. And my mom at his funeral, read depressing poems by Sylvia Plath. And that was the end, and that was my first lesson in death. And the first person I knew who died was Opie. I think it was like 4th or 5th grade. And Opie was a foster kid. He was passed around from house to house, and nobody liked him. He was a brat. He was a rebel. He'd steal candy from the bait shop and throw rocks through the church windows. And did horribly at school. Nobody liked him. And then one day he jumped off the swing bridge into the Crooked River, and they never found his body. And we all cried and cried for days, even though we secretly didn't like Opie. We just felt the deep emptiness and sorrow just from the reality of his death. And at school, they held an assembly in the gymnasium, and they hired a grief counselor to come speak to our class, the kids, about death and about Opie. And I remember she held up Opie's jacket, and she said, "Opie no longer resides in this jacket." And then she pointed at his desk. She brought it up on stage. "Opie no longer resides in this desk, but he resides in our hearts, in our spirits, in our minds. We contain him now, in our memories, in our history. And when we live and move and walk, we still become a living testament to his former life." And she told us to live honorably and with joy and abundance in the memory of those who have died and those who have lived before us. And I thought that was interesting, idea of death taking residence, not as something to occupy you or possess you or diminish you or conquer you, but as a resident, a companion, something you take care of, you live with every day. And it can give you joy, help you to live fully in the moment, take pleasure in everything, stop complaining, stop wishing for something better. This is what you have. You contain more mystery and magic, biodiversity than all the universe. And your body alone is a miracle, a walking miracle. So while you have breath and life, live abundantly and with joy. And that's my prayer tonight.